For my brows, I only use like 2 products. That's my pencil, which is the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil. And then I use my e.l.f. brow gel. This has fibers in it. It helps create hairs on your brow, make it look even more natural. The first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna use a spoolie. Any spoolie, don't matter, it can be disposable. It really don't matter what type of spoolie you use. What I like to do is I'll brush up the front of my hairs here. I'll brush those up, and then I'll brush the rest of the hair diagonal. And you want to brush the brow in the shape that you want to draw them in, if that makes sense. I like to slightly do an arch in my brow, so I kind of brush them in that position. Same thing with my other brow, brush it up, and then go diagonal. And kind of leave them a little arched because, again, I like my eyebrows to be slightly arched. So they should look like this, nice and groomed. The next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna grab your brow pencil. You're gonna get just enough just to do something really natural. The key to a natural brow is your pressure. If you want your brows to be soft, use lighter pressure. If you want your brows to be heavier, of course, use heavier pressure. We're doing natural today. So the first thing I like to do is I go in, because I barely have hair in the front of my brow, I like to draw a little line very lightly right there. And then you also see where I'm missing hair in that spot. So I draw my line there. And then I bring out the tail just a little bit. This is to guide me, so when I go in with my strokes, I know where to stop and I know where to start. I usually don't touch the top of my brow. Oh, and ignore my fingers, y'all. I literally, I was fighting with my lipstick. Literally fighting with it to blend, so that's there. So what you're gonna do is, now that you have your line, you're gonna go ahead and lightly fill in the spaces of your brow that's missing hair. So you guys can see where my hair is really sparse. I'm just gonna take my pencil and lightly, with very light pressure, fill it in. I'm not drawing, going heavy. We're just gonna fill them in. So do light strokes. Once I feel like that's filled in enough, I go ahead to the front of my brow. So I'm very light down at the bottom where there's not much hair. So I'm going to just lightly stroke in some hairs. So it looks like that. Now I can go ahead and start filling in the top where I'm missing hair. So there's a dip right here. I'm just gonna fill that in. I really don't have much of an arch, so I'm gonna create one. And then I'm gonna connect it to the tail. And now I have one brow done. Then I, of course, move on to my next brow and do the same thing. This brow is a little lighter than the other one. There's not as much hair in this brow, and my brows are literally cousins. They are not sisters at all. So I'm gonna try my best to make them sisters. Same thing, draw a little line very lightly. I barely have hair here, so I'm just gonna lightly draw a line and create my tail. Once the tail is there, I'll go ahead and start filling it in with very light strokes. I don't want my brow to be heavy, so very light hand when doing this. And once it's filled in, you're just going to fill in the front. Very light strokes. When you draw your brows in, you really want the lines to mimic the growth of your actual brow hair. So the front of my hair grows upward and then it grows kind of slanted, moving towards the back. So I draw in that direction. Once I have my brow like the way I want it towards the bottom, I just go ahead and start filling in the top, where I am not, basically where I'm missing hair. So like my tail is not as thick as the tail on my other side. So this one I have to do a little more filling in to make them identical, or at least close enough. Then you just connect it to your tail. And now all I'm doing is just going back over it. Make sure everything is filled in. So this is what my brows look like now. This one looks a little heavier, but we'll fix it. But this is what they look like now. So now I'm just gonna go in with a little bit of concealer and clean up my brows. I like to put some on the back of my hand so I can control how much I pick up. Get as little as possible so it's not heavy, it's not caked on. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of it and just kind of outline my eyebrow and just clean it up. And for anyone wondering why I'm not touching the top of my brow, is because I don't want my brow to look overly perfect. Like I still want it to look like just a regular natural eyebrow. Same thing with this side, grab a little bit of concealer and clean it up. The key is to have my eyebrows look like I just got them done. I don't want anything too perfect, even though they kind of are perfect, but nothing too perfect. All right, so that's done. I like this brow better. I always like that brow better. If you feel like you went a little too heavy on one side, what you can do is take your spoolie and the leftover concealer on your brush, pick up just a little bit of it to where it's like this, and just go in your brow. Just to lighten it up a little bit. I feel like this side is always heavier because I don't have that much brow hair on that side. After you do that, you're gonna take your spoolie again and you're gonna brush through those hairs just to blend them in a little more. Right? And then same thing with this side, just to blend it in a little more together. You're just gonna brush them out. Right, so that's done. Any extra lines that are coming over a little too far from your brow line, just go ahead and get rid of it. Now you are ready for your brow gel. This brow gel, like I said, has I'm gonna show you, has little hairs, little fibers, if you can see them. So it has little fibers in it to help create and mimic brow hairs. So you just go through, brush it in, go in the front, go again in the same direction of your hair growth. And then that's done. Same thing with this side, same direction of your hair growth. All right, so this side is still a little messed up. So we're just gonna go in with concealer again because I don't want that weird, it looks really thick right there. So we're just gonna go in with a little more concealer and straighten that up. I'm gonna use a brush and I'm gonna use this time to contour my nose. And then when I contour, I drag it into the brow. So I'm gonna start here because it's already kind of contoured now. And you're just gonna go up into the brow bone. This is to help soften the appearance of the front of your eyebrow and make it look a little more natural and a little more blended into your face. Like, you can already see the difference. Same thing with the other side. Just tap it in. Make it blend into the front. My advice to you, that if you already have like a long nose or a long face, I do not recommend dragging that all the way up into your brow bone from your nose. Probably just start here and blend it out that way. But if you have a smaller face like me, you can definitely get away with this. And once I'm done with that, I just go over it with the Beauty Blender just to lighten any harsher lines. Okay, and that's how I do my brows. That's done. It's that easy. It literally took me like 10 minutes to record this, but in real time, it probably only takes me like 3 minutes to do my brows like this. Also, depending on how I do my makeup, I do have 2 different styles of brow that I like to go with. Today, I showed you how I do my natural brow, which I usually use for my soft glam looks or like an everyday look. If you would like to know how I do my glam brows, make sure that you comment under my video and I will go ahead and record that for you and have it up by the end of the week. All right, bye.